when I was running through the YouTube, I came up with a couple ideas for talking things. One of them was.
You mean talking points?
Yes. I could say however I want. Anyway,
talking things. We can talk about things all day long, man.
So the first one was, so all the U.S. personnel are pulling out of Afghanistan right now, and as soon as we're moving out, on the military bases, on the Afghani military bases, the Taliban is driving in. They're handing their weapons over to the Taliban, shaking their hands, and then walking away.
How does that make you feel?
I mean,
as obviously a veteran of 2 foreign wars.
To be honest with you, should we have even really been over there in the first place?
They fucking hate us.
Well, I mean, other than to attempt to capture Bin Laden, but as soon as he was in obviously Pakistan at that point in time,
right. Well, as soon as we got Bin Laden, we should have just left.
Yeah, right.
That whole country,
2012.
But now what we're trying to do when we were going places is we're trying to force change of people that weren't ready to change or didn't care to change.
Yeah. Well,
and we just went in there and we just took over bases and stuff like that. Really, we didn't really change anything. We were just technically the people in power. I don't know what happens on top of on the top. I mean, we're not collecting taxes. I don't believe. I know we're probably stealing resources from the western part of the country, because the whole reason that country has any wealth, well, other than opium,
I was
is
going to say,
natural gas.
We steal opium.
And I think
there's a lot of natural
gas.
gas.
The original reason why all that shit went down in the first place.
Is there really a lot of natural gas over there?
There's a lot of natural gas in the western part of the country, bordered with Iran.
That's how that shit
That's
works.
also kind of a loaded thing.
Right.
You got Iran right there.
Well, that's the problem, right? So even with I'm not gonna go too far off course here, but Africa has a bunch of gems and shit. It's one of the wealthiest places when it comes to gems, but that's how economics works, right? So even though these places that are poor as fuck have really good resources, the supply and demand isn't there, but it's there in other countries.
Well, it's more about kind of the way the entire economy of the entire world works,
right?
In which basically resources are getting pulled from some areas and they're getting put into other areas where they're making more money out of it. Which is why the cities like LA, New York, Chicago, all the big cities in the United States, they really create. They create no actual productive thing.
Right. Supply and demand.
All the resources are pulled out of
other than consumer products.
Yeah. They don't. I mean, they might manage the consumer products, but they don't
have to create some sort of consumer product.
But all everything's made in suburbs. Everything's made in the country when you're talking about foods. But the resources. The food is actually being brought into the cities, but it's actually being controlled by people within the cities to make their profit. Right. They're not actually creating anything. They're taking away the wealth of the actual people that are creating or having the resources and making more money out of it.
Right. The working and middle class.
Capitalism at its finest.
That is capitalism. Capitalism at its finest. And it's in my mind, it's also why you can't do direct democracy in the sense of elected officials and control of. I mean, the government's pretty much fucked in my opinion, anyway. But if you had a democracy, if the United States did not do by state senators and House of Representatives, then we would all become slaves of 3 cities. The entire country would be slaves of New York City, L.A., and Chicago. When somebody runs for president, they would not have to campaign anywhere else. Those are the only 3 places they would have to campaign in order to win the presidency.
Right, but you know, the way the electoral college is built, you know,
The senators is what gives them power.
no, it's
The individual states, because there's only 2 per state.
because the amount of electoral
It doesn't matter how
votes
many
that
people
you
you have.
get. No, it's based on population.
No, that's House of Representatives.
No. But that's also correlates to electoral college, which is how we vote in our president.
I thought that every single House of Representative member got a vote, and every single senator gets 1 vote. And that's what gives individual
also-
states more power.
I could be wrong.
Rhode Island has just as much power in the Senate as Texas or California or New York
In the Senate.
in the Senate.
But in
But
the
the
House
House
of
of
Representatives is a totally different
and
story
the
because
biggest-
I don't even think Rhode Island has a population of 1 million people.
The biggest problem with the House of Representatives is they do what is that when they count the people in all the areas? You know what I'm talking
Census.
about? When they do the
The
census.
census. Yeah.
When they're doing a census, they are not just counting American citizens. They are counting every single person that lives there, including illegal immigrants.
That's why someone comes around to your house and asks how many people and shit.
Right. They don't care that if you're a citizen or not.
Yeah.
You still count, and that area gets an extra amount